Here we go. Slow-mo, 1901. Strong player. Been experimenting with the con Sicilian. Let's see what he does to it. Now he plays the wing gambit. Okay, no con this time. I forget whether you're supposed to keep taking or not. Just play e4, e5. I have no idea what's going on here. Let's see, I want to hold on to that pawn, so let's go ahead and do this. The e pawn. Not so worried about this pawn. Let's attack his e pawn. So anyway, this is no longer a Sicilian position. It's more like Ruy Lopez or something, where there's been some weird pawn trades. I have a backwards d pawn. He's going to try and open it up. Let's take. Okay, I'm going to have to defend my knight after he takes with the knight here. And I'm going to get castled. So I have kind of a cramped position on a backwards d pawn. He's got pretty decent structure here, actually. He's got a lot of space. He's got a well-supported e pawn. And he's got squares to develop his other pieces too. He's two pawns on the queen side. Maybe they will be something eventually. If he keeps taking, this will help me. The trades help me. And this will also bring a pawn forward. So I'm not going to run away from the trade. He just defended his pawn. He decided not to take. Then he hits my bishop, so I'll have to drop back. Guess I go here. So he castles on that side here. Let's see if we can get rid of that annoying pawn there. Okay, so now I have a passed pawn on the queen side here. Oh, he takes it. For a second I had a passed pawn on the queen side. So it's good for white. Let's activate this bishop. Not quite sure where to put it. His knights were controlling a lot of squares over here. Anyway, I don't have that weak pawn to worry about. I can go after the c pawn, maybe with queen c7. Bring a rook out. Queen c7 runs into knight b5, though. Queen c8 maybe just trades. But then I'll still have a rook looking at his c pawn. Okay, so he goes that way. Yeah, let's do queen c8 and see if he wants to trade queens. He wants to defend the pawn. Okay, I can respect that. Let's pin his knight here. See, he can attack me with the other knight. I can fall back to a7. I want to double the rooks on this, well, bring my rook to c8. It's not doubling, but it's creating a battery of rook and queen. He just unpins. It's not, I guess that knight is not going to be easily chased away, but anyway. Yeah, I thought he might do that. It's a tempting move. Could have considered bringing the queen over to the king side. That might have been interesting. Let's see, this pawn. Maybe I can put some pressure on it. Yeah, my dark squared bishop is locked in behind this pawn, so if he pushes forward, I can trade, at least open up something for this bishop. Okay, so do I do the knight here? Queen here? If I do the queen there, he can just take my knight. So that's no good. If I do the knight here, maybe it should go here instead, hitting his bishop. So he's got an extra pawn, but he's got his 4 pawns versus my 3. My 3 are all together and his are a bit scattered. And I have the bishop pair, so it's not entirely one-sided, this game. And now I've given my light squared bishop some more squares too. He can drop down here. He will probably trade it off, but then that will be one less defender for this guy. Okay, can I do something useful with my bishop pair? Let's bring this light squared bishop around this way. Going to the g6 square to hit his queen. My dark squared bishop, yeah, is still somewhat restricted. So he can take here because he takes with check. I take back, and then he has time to move his queen, but I get this pawn, I think, if he does that. I think I do. Let's see if he's got some good defense here, but he's got to move the queen, so then I can just follow up with rook takes c7. My queen's still guarding the back rank. I do have a back rank problem. Have to be careful about. Now, so he attacks my knight, which definitely causes trouble. Can I counterattack his queen in some way? I only see this. This seems to be the only move. Only one I see, anyway. Yeah, he's also tying my bishop down to the defense of f7 here. And now my queen and rook are tied down to the back rank. So it's going to be hard for me to round up that pawn. Of course, his rook is tied up to the back rank too. Although I'm not actually threatening to. I don't have any piece that's really threatening to go to the back rank. Knight here. Oh, he just takes it. Bishop there. Okay. So I need to defend that second rank here. Where can the queen go on the second rank, or the rook? Well, his I can't do that. I was going to say his bishop is loose there. If I could just move my knight somewhere, but I have no good square to move it to. Okay. Gonna defend like this, I guess. Okay, and I won by timeout. Yeah, that's tricky. Tricky position. And the material, white still has that extra pawn. Bishops are of opposite color, and there's plenty of force on the board with the queen, so I don't really know what's going on in this final position, but I got the win, so I'll take that. Yeah, let's see if we can play a rapid game here. Estebanez, 1987, another strong player. I'm trying to play the Sicilian. Looks like I don't get it. We get the that gambit. I forget the name of it at the moment. It'll come to me, which I declined. I think this move is okay. It looks kind of funny to give yourself doubled pawns, but you can undouble them pretty easily here. So we take once, or we leave it. Just kick the bishop. Okay. Seems to be playing a little bit simplistically here, but maybe out of frustration that I didn't accept his wonderful gambit. So let's get castled too. It was tempting to take the pawn right away, but don't want to do that while the queen and the king are on this line here. So we can take it now, though. Queen can move away after he takes back. Or I could bring the bishop out. So he took with the knight, and I want to keep this pawn defended. So let's get the queen away from any discovered attacks. And defend the c-pawn. He can attack the c-pawn again. I can defend. Couldn't put the bishop here because he would trade it off, and then I could have put the bishop there. I take it back. So I think I'll put a rook here and then kick that knight. One, two, three. I guess I need to defend once more, huh? Yeah, when I was talking about putting my bishop here, I was thinking that he might be able to take it now. I was thinking that, you know, it still had two attackers, but I was forgetting that knight takes bishop. It eliminates my defender, but it also eliminates his attacker. So he can sink a knight on here, which would be a good square. I will get my queen away from the pin there. But then I'll walk into the let's go like this. Maybe I'll just push this pawn forward. If he moves the knight here to attack, he's going to win a pawn. Estebanez looks like he got a little something out of that after all. There's maybe something going on the back rank I could arrange. So anyway, I was expecting knight to b4 here at the fork. So it looks like he wins a pawn. But when the knight moves, this is a loose rook on the back rank, and his king has no escape squares. So I can at least gain some time by playing rook here to oppose his rook. So he puts his rook there. I see, keeping the knight there. So I need to, I should probably go for the counterattack here. I mean, as long as I'm defending with the bishop, he has to sacrifice material to win that pawn until he moves the knight. And after he moves the knight, he moved it there though. That's interesting. Yeah, anyway, as I was saying, after he moves the knight, it's going to be this square has one less defender. I didn't really expect him to move it there. Okay, so I was planning to lift a rook. Maybe I should just lift this one then. Rook here, take pawn is a possibility, but I was really thinking rook here and mate on the back rank. So he ran with the queen. This is still a threat. Let's see how he defends. But he's achieved a positional bind here with this knight, because it's covering the square that my bishop could go to. So this knight is keeping my bishop out of the game. And he has an extra pawn over here. I can get a pawn on the back rank here. I mean, I can get a rook on the back rank, sorry. And I got a check over here. Oh, trading queens. People play such dull chess these days. I'll avoid the queen trade for now, I guess. Let's see if he can make progress with the material he has. The endgame, yeah, the endgame is probably just good for white. But, you know, I'll go for the counterattack here. Actually, how is he defending that pawn? Can he even defend it? I don't think so. Queen here, I take the queen. Queen here, I take the queen. Rook here, I take the rook. Knight has no move that defends it. That's funny. Well, okay, so then there'll be even pawns. He still will have some kind of edge with these pawns on the outside. And with this potential bind against my bishop, which is looking like a pretty sad piece over here. But if I could push these pawns forward. I'm taking. Take first, ask questions later. Yeah, so he sits back on that good position. Here, let's I wonder where's the best square for this rook. Where it is right now, it's maybe in danger of getting trapped. I can no longer go to this square where the knight's covering that square. So the easy route back to my camp is covered. So okay, he's playing the knight there. Okay, what's the threat here? I think the problem is that he could get his queen to this. If he gets his queen to the second rank and gangs up on this pawn, it's a problem. So, but if he puts his queen here, I can take the knight. If he plays queen to e7, threatening my pawn, I have my queen and rook coordinating his knight now. So this rook move stopped queen e7. Yeah, I think white had better. I think white could have moved the rook to this file first to prevent me from activating my rook, and that would have been good. He didn't want to leave the pressure, give up the pressure on that pawn, but I think maybe a switch of objectives might have done him well there. If we back up a few moves, it's like right here. When I went there, yeah, instead of the knight move, bring the rook over here, and I can't easily get back into the game. I mean, I can put my rook here, but it's not even really threatening anything because that's defended. Anyway, let's go back to the game. Okay, so he retreated his knight. And he's ganging up on this pawn. Okay, so he wants to get his pawn back. What should I do? kind of want to leave my rook there. Maybe put the queen here so it's not hit by the rook if the rook comes down here. And I'm introducing the idea of bringing the rook to here after the knight takes the pawn. So we can win a pawn at the cost of giving up his beautiful knight and letting me get rid of my ugly bishop. Yeah, I wonder, actually, if knight takes pawn, maybe rook here would actually win back a piece. So maybe I have succeeded in indirectly defending that pawn. Anyway, based on all the trouble I had with this bishop over here, maybe back at the beginning, or when I had the chance to defend the pawn this way or this way, and I avoided this one because I thought the exchange would lose a pawn, but I was wrong. Yeah, so maybe maybe I should have put the bishop on this square instead of this square. Put the bishop on d7, allow him to trade. Then I wouldn't have had to worry about it. There's also the queen check here if I ever want to just get the queens off. So he took there anyway. So I thought rook here, he can move the knight with check. Is that a problem? I'll just take it. Not seeing it. Maybe there's some way to get rook and bishop for the queen, because at the end he has this check here. So like, for example, queen takes rook, queen takes queen, knight here check, queen takes rook, rook here check, king moves, and he takes the bishop, but I would be left with a rook for a queen. I'd be left with a queen for a rook because he had to sacrifice the knight in that sequence. So I guess nothing works for him here. I don't see anything that works. Yeah, it's interesting. He thought about that move for a long time, and I assumed it was because he saw this tactic that maybe he was thinking about whether he wanted to win a pawn and give up his beautiful knight for my ugly bishop that I described at first, but this just loses a piece, I think. Okay. Bishop takes knight, right? Got to do these in the right order. Now his queen is hanging. If he takes my queen, I take with the bishop. Yep, so he saves the queen. let's just push that pawn. It's a passed pawn. I was looking at various queen checks here, but I don't have one that would force a trade at the moment. But I could put the rook behind the pawn. Like so, and now I have a check. I also have queen here to threaten this mate. Okay, so what's best? Queen here to threaten mate. Push the pawn. Then I drop back and do the check. Take with the pawn, and then I have a solidly defended passer. Something better. Maybe just go directly for the check. I'm not sure whether I want to encourage him to move that pawn forward or not. And then just get the king into the game. Okay, make sure those pawns aren't pinned. And I can blockade these pawns on the light squares with my bishop and bring the rook in to attack them. Let's, he wants to put his rook here. Let's allow that. Get my king in front of the pawn. And that was his idea. He wins the pawn back. But now my king is in a good position here. True. Very true. I was always thinking the bishop had blockaded those pawns, but of course the rook is blockading now. So I'm going to queen with check here. So if he tries something like rook here, I can take, he takes, I push, he pushes, I push with check, and then come back and win the pawn. Yeah, don't see a way out. His king's too far away. Yeah, this doesn't work. Well, let's double check. I have lots of time. So rook takes, pawn takes. I push, he pushes. I queen with check. He moves his king, and then I bring my queen here and stop that pawn. Queening with check is often a very important thing in endgames. And he resigned. Okay, well, that was a nice couple of games. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Bye now.